Thank you so very much for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen. Eric H526, Luke St. Martin, thank you so very, very much. Ladies and gentlemen, what can I tell you? I'm trying on a new hat. We'll see how it goes. It's nice and comfy. And to my super chat, thank you so very, very much. You give me every incentive to rock these live streams. Clementine Cooper, thank you so very much. Clementine Cooper, thank you. Thank you, HJ, for obsessing about exactly what we want to hear always. Thank you so very much, Clementine. Again, to the two best moderators in all of YouTube. To the two best moderators in all of YouTube, Eric H526 and Luke St. Martin, thank you. Red, thank you very much. I got this from Putin, actually, so I thought I'd try it out. Dan, hello. But, ladies and... I just figure, they're going to say that all Trump supporters are Russia bots. So why not just, Ariel, hello, why not just give them what they want? It's so comfy. The blessings, hello. Yes, it is, Sam Roth. Yes, it is. So, let's go ahead. It's really nice, too. It's like nice feel. Trump zeroes in on Judge Barrett as likely Supreme Court pick. Now, let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. Again, to my super chat, I don't have $20 million in venture capital funding, so you are absolutely wonderful in this super chat. So thank you so very, very much. Every evening, I couldn't do what I do without you and the Patreons, and so just thank you very, very much. Barbara Lagoa is absolutely fantastic, and she's a Cuban-American in Florida. She was on the Florida Supreme Court. She is on the Florida Supreme Court. She's absolutely fantastic. If I'm wrong about Amy Coney Barrett and it's Barbara Lagoa, that's even better. She's actually, I think, even more conservative, especially on, I think, issues like the Second Amendment. So that would be fantastic. Either Barbara Lagoa or Amy Coney Barrett, President Trump can't go wrong. He just absolutely can't go wrong. Amy Coney Barrett, Barbara Lagoa will be very difficult, impossible for Democrats to disparage, to do their usual public relations hit job. They will be absolutely impossible to try to denigrate and undermine. And that's what Democrats do best. They yell and scream and screech at the top of their lungs about equality and about misogyny and about sexism, and then what happens is, you watch, they are going to go after anyone Trump picks, even though she will be a woman. And you watch how they behave. You watch, ladies and gentlemen. They are completely duplicitous and disingenuous. Actually, what Trump should have done is he should have picked Amy Coney Barrett instead of Kavanaugh, and then picked Barbara Lagoa. That's what he really should. That would have been absolutely amazing. But here, Trump zeroes in on Judge Barrett as likely Supreme Court pick. So I've been saying for a long time that Amy Coney Barrett is next. Amy Coney Barrett met with Trump at the White House on Monday. This is Bloomberg. Barrett, a Catholic, favored by... Donald Trump is moving towards nominating Amy Coney Barrett to replace the late Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg on the Supreme Court, according to people familiar with the matter. Like H.A. Badman, despite the president saying Monday he's considering as many as 5 candidates, he's not considering 5 candidates. Okay, that's nonsense. Barrett met with Trump, and it's basically down to 2. Barbara Lagoa, who's absolutely fantastic. She's absolutely fantastic. And Amy Coney Barrett. Barrett met with Trump and separately with White House counsel Pat Cipollone on Monday, said people familiar with the discussions. She is a favorite. Okay, we're heavily lobbying the White House, and Trump personally to nominate her. She's preferred by Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, according to people close to him. She's absolutely fantastic. She is battle-tested in terms of going up against Dianne Feinstein and other Democrats in the Senate. She is eloquent. She's intelligent. She is knowledgeable, learned. She, I believe, was a professor at Notre Dame. We'll get to her. Her resume in a moment. But she's absolutely fantastic. And her supporters have pointed out to the White House that as a Midwestern Catholic, Barrett may help the president secure votes for his re-election in vital Rust Belt and Great Lakes states, where he currently trails Democratic candidate Joe Biden. He doesn't trail Joe Biden. Joe Biden is trailing Joe Biden as he walks and talks. But, so let's continue. Okay. Within the White House, the only candidate for Ginsburg's seat currently attracting serious interest other than Barrett's appeals court judge Barbara Lagoa. She is a Cuban-American from Florida, as Trump has repeatedly noted, which might help him in that must-win state. But Lagoa is at the moment a distant second to Barrett, judge on the 7th Circuit Court of Appeals based in Chicago. The president has expressed some skepticism about a conservative. Okay. Asked if he will meet with Lagoa this week when he travels to Florida, Trump said he may. Trump is set to let off a furious political battle over the Supreme Court seat vacancy by Ginsburg's passing on Friday, only 6 weeks before he stands for re-election. The prospect that he'll replace the liberal icon with a conservative jurist has outraged Democrats. They're outraged. When they wake up in the morning, they're outraged. I'm outraged. How are you doing today? I'm outraged. Gosh, I have to go to the supermarket. I'm outraged. They're always outraged. I'm outraged. Every day President Trump is in office, they're going to be outraged the next 4 years. They're going to be outraged for 8 straight years. It's going to be fantastic. Who responded by pouring more than $120 million into the party's fundraising platform, Act Blue, over the weekend. So what? They're still not outspending Trump anywhere close to 2-1, and I don't even know if they're barely outspending President Trump. Trump had a pretty huge lead really quickly. Warren Davidson, Warren. Thank you, Warren. Leo Zaba. Well, it's over for my Broncos. Leo, thank you. Warren, thank you. It's only week 1, but or week 2, sorry. 0-2. Don't look good. Raiders 2-0, baby. That's right. Raiders are doing so well. I was worried about the Saints, but my God, the Raiders are doing so well. Love the Raiders. So happy. Gruden is the man. We'll get to that in a second. Raiders can go all the way this year. Mark my words, they can go all the way this year. Leo, thank you. Warren Davidson, thank you. William R. Abrams, are we taking the summit? Maybe. William R. Abrams III, thank you. Thank you. So, really quickly, Warren Davidson, thank you again. Really quickly, so just let's go to Open Secrets. Open Secrets, Trump. Let's go Open Secrets, Biden. So, according to Open Secrets, Joe Biden, by the way, large contributions are 52%. Small contributions are 37%. Okay, he's not being funded by any grassroots support. With Trump, it's the opposite. You'll see in a second. Total raised $702,321,739. So a little over $702,000 for Biden, according to Open Secrets. And large contributions are over half. Okay? Small contributions under $200, only 37%. Now do the same thing for President Trump. President Trump, okay, let's see, hold on, Donald Trump, incumbent. So $571 million, that's all right. He was outspent 2-1. This isn't 2-1. He's being outspent, but check it out. Small contributions are 52% of his total. Large contributions are 46%. So he has, it's almost inverted. Although he's gaining more in large contributions. But other contributions Biden has as well, like similar to large contributions. In terms of the enthusiasm, you can see, you can see that President Trump has the lead by far in terms of smaller contributions. Biden has what, 150 million more dollars. So what? You can't really advertise a broken, wrecked car. And at the end of the day, you watch, Madam Secretary is going to come swooping in. I'm telling you, they're not going to go with Biden. If they go with, okay, they're going to go with Biden. Maybe the debate's fine. Maybe the first debate, who knows? Second debate, third debate, whatever. At the end of the day, it ain't going to be Biden. There's going to be a political slaughter. There's no way that Biden gets anywhere close. The media, of course, will say that he won. So, of course, the media will say that Biden won. Oh, my God, Biden won. Oh, this is fantastic. Hunter's Moon, Graham. Biden rule. No questions on possible cases before the court. Abortion mail-in votes questions to Amy Coney. Yeah, Hunter's Moon. They're probably almost certainly not going to abide by that. But, yeah, just another example of their hypocrisy. Hunter's Moon, thank you. Hunter's Moon, thank you so very much. Costaludo, a Catholic Supreme Court Justice. I'm gonna. Cos, hello. Leo Zabo, I'll get you a Chucky doll for Christmas. Thank you, Leo. Thank you, Leo Zabo. Thank you. So really quickly, so they have more money, but it's like, the incumbent doesn't really need that much of an advantage in terms of fundraising. He's the incumbent for a reason. He won in 2016 despite being outspent 2-1, and Open Secrets might be counting the money that they just raised. And Biden doesn't have any donors of his own. He doesn't have any grassroots donors. Like, there's never been a successful Biden campaign, and I wouldn't call this campaign a successful campaign. He's not really campaigning. Dr. Shannon Russell! Doctor! Why won't Biden list, that's right, release his SCOTUS list? You think HSC is on his list? I think that he won't release his list because I don't even think that he's the real nominee. I think the whole thing, Dr. Shannon Russell, is a charade. I still think they're going ahead with the charade. But, it fills me with such great joy that President Trump is on Hunter's Moon, Dr. Shannon Russell, everyone here. It fills me with such great joy and happiness. And it's just so wonderful that President Trump gets 3 Supreme Court picks. They did this to themselves. They knew that there were a great many voters who did not care. Even they would not fall in line even with the fear-mongering regarding the Supreme Court. The issue is not the voters who made the mistake. The issue is the Democratic Party who knew they had voters they couldn't bully and intimidate. That's the issue. And if they knew they had more of those voters, they wouldn't have cheated Bernie Sanders again in 2020. But Amy Coney Barrett is a fantastic choice. They are completely powerless. They want to talk. They're talking about packing the courts. They were going to do that anyway. There's no threat that Democrats have engaged in, or that there's no threat that Democrats have conveyed that they weren't going to engage in when they got the Senate. So it's like they're really hilarious. They're like, well, you better not. And today, Lindsey Graham stated that they have the votes. So they have the votes. Susan Collins and Lisa Murkowski are apparently going to pretend that they're not going to Emily Cooper. H.A. Putin asked me to ask you if you want to combine harems. I don't mind. Yeah, tell him I said fine. Emily Cooper! Emily! Thank you. Emily, thank you. So let's just continue reading. So Lisa Murkowski and Susan Collins have stated that, well, we don't really want to vote. And so it's like, why would you not vote for a female conservative? You are a female conservative. That's why you're a Republican senator. Somebody remind Lisa Murkowski and Susan Collins they're Republican senators. The media will never forgive them for being Republican senators, so they can pretend and offer this olive branch to the disgruntled, maniacal, apoplectic, hysterical imbeciles in media and on the left. And it ain't gonna work. So you can actually sit this one out. I doubt Mitt Romney, because Mitt Romney's like, oh, well, I am a good Republican. I don't wear the babushka hat like H.A. Badman. I'm a good Republican. I coif my hair very nicely. And I don't know if I want to vote for a 6-3 conservative Supreme Court, because I agree in the principles of fairness that Democrats would never, ever agree to if they had 6-3 liberals. Do you think, ladies and gentlemen, do you think that if it was 6-3 liberal judges that they would want to pack the court? Do you think if they won the Electoral College that they would want to do away with the Electoral College? They're the biggest hypocrites on the planet. You saw what they're doing right now to Tara Reid. So they are the biggest hypocrites on the planet. And they only want political power. That's it. That's it. They only care about political power. They don't care about anything else. The way they communicate is the following. Like their hysterical ranting and raving. Okay? Sandiford! Mittens has no spine. He will vote when called on. He will. I agree with you. The way they communicate, the way they convey their thoughts is the following. We're morally superior because we're always standing on the side of truth and justice, and the maxims that we uphold would be relevant whether or not we were in power or whether we were the minority in Congress. The reality is, when it's Kavanaugh, they really care about believing accusers. When it's Biden, they don't care about believing accusers. When it's the Steele dossier, they don't care about purchasing information on their political rival from Russian sources or from a person who is utilizing one Russian intelligence official and government sources and unnamed Russian sources. Of course, when it's the DNC emails that forced Debbie Wasserman Schultz to resign, then they say, oh my God, Russian interference, oh my God, this is so horrible. So if they won, they wouldn't have packed the court. If they got a 6-3, do you think, ladies and gentlemen, and they knew the rules of the game, they went in with Hillary Clinton in 2016 when I said in 2015 she would lose to President Trump. They elevated President Trump. Harry Reid altered the rules of the Senate to ensure that a simple majority could get Supreme Court nominees through, and they did this to themselves. They did this to themselves, like they always do. They always do themselves. So it's kind of funny. You hear them complaining and yelling and ranting and raving. It's like you're not going to do anything. And this is going to just take the wind out of their sails. Because at the end, packing the court is not something that is, nobody even really knows what that is. Most Americans don't really understand, and nor should they, understand what packing the court means. Nobody really cares. It's not something that you can, get a person excited about. Hey, everyone, Biden's going to pack the courts. Biden doesn't know where the court is, but he's packing it. Everyone, we're going to pack the courts, everybody. Hey, everybody, we're packing the courts. Nobody knows what that is. I mean, it takes a second to research. Basically, you need the executive branch and two houses of Congress, both houses of Congress. And they're not going to get the House, the Senate, and the executive. They're not even going to get the presidency. If it's Biden, he doesn't even get close enough to cheat. Their entire political strategy is, let's get close enough to cheat. We'll have the media cover for us, and then we can move on. Emily Cooper! What do you think of the Election Integrity Project? Do you think the Dems will really try to stage a coup if Trump, if it's a clear Trump win? I don't know much about Emily Cooper. I don't know much about the Election Integrity Project. Let's see. I think I've heard of it, but the Election Integrity Project should have found out what happened in Iowa in 2020, and why the app was linked to Clinton campaign officials. You watch, you'll be there in the end. It'll be the Michael Jackson song, I'll be there. But your second question, Emily, they're not going to stage a coup. They will have a whole bunch of protests, but that's about it. They're not going to stage a coup, and there's really nothing they can do they're powerless. Emily, they're powerless. And the American people, like the average person, even the average Democrat, understands there's nothing that they can do. There is nothing that they can do. They can't do. There's nothing that they can do. In terms of retaliation, see, they want to retaliate because they've dug themselves yet another hole. And they want to, portray this show of force and, that they want to pretend that they're really influential and that they should be taken seriously. Meanwhile, the rest of humanity is laughing at them. They're the most inept, incompetent, arrogant narcissists. They're the same people who call their friends and family and say, I can't talk to you anymore, you're voting for Trump. And you can look at the MSNBC and CNN YouTube channels. Even their comment section is being taken over. I mean, there's a groundswell, there's an undercurrent, there's not only a silent majority, there's something really profound taking place, and it's a paradigm shift that's taking place without Democrats, without them being aware that's even happening. Younger people are actually becoming not necessarily more conservative, but more centrist, but not I shouldn't say centrist, but more like they're more conservative about the Second Amendment. They're more they're not, let's put it this way, they're not as apoplectic about certain issues, and they're actually more conservative on a whole bunch of things. Emily, thank you. Flat Fee Guy LLC, thank you. Bowser Mo, hello. Flat Fee Guy LLC, thank you so very, very, very much. So, let's continue with, okay, so Trump is set to light off a furious political battle over the Supreme Court seat vacated by Ginsburg's passing on Friday. The prospect that he'll replace the liberal icon with a conservative jurist has outraged Democrats who responded by pouring more than $120 million in the party's platform, Act Blue, over the weekend. Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer told colleagues that nothing is off the table. Nothing is off the table if Republicans replace Ginsburg and Democrats. So, like, what does he want? You think Trump is the type of person, okay, you know what? Something's on the table. They're clearing the table. So nothing's off. Oh, no, everything's on the table. You think that Trump and McConnell, and you think that they're going to be like, oh, my God, you mean you'll pack the courts? Oh, no. You're going to pack the courts and you're going to, erase the Electoral College. You're going to do away with it with a constitutional amendment that you can't get. And you're going to pack the courts even though you're not even going to win this election. Okay, Democrats, we won't do anything like put Amy Coney Barrett in there right before the election, which is what you wanted to do with Merrick Garland. So we don't want to get you upset, Democrats. Please. McConnell, please. Don't do it. We're sorry. Okay, please. You want to impeach Trump again. They're going to impeach Trump again. So they're going to try to remove him from office before the election, which is what happens in a democracy. You want to remove a president, you vote to remove the president. But they are vicious and cutthroat. All they want to do is Emily Cooper! Read the article by Michael Anton on American Minds for more on Election Integrity Project. One of the organizers of VIP insinuated, oh my God. So, let me see here. The coming coup. The Democrats are laying the groundwork for. The interesting thing, though, he's obviously awesome, and he's awesome. They're not really good at staging. They're not really good at expressing. They're good at expressing their discontent, but they're not good at having a strategy. So they're very angry, but they don't do anything with that anger. Michael Anton. Okay, so what they're doing is what they're doing, ladies and gentlemen, and Emily, is the Democrats are trying to say, well, if you engage in your constitutional duty, then we will express our discontent. The average American, though, is not going to. I wouldn't use the word revolt, although there's a lot of people who think that. I would say that what they're going to do is there's probably going to be a coordinated effort to ruin President Trump's re-election, inaugural like last time. There were already, according to CNN, so CNN, 2 operatives resigned. Democratic operatives stepping back after video suggests, this is in 2016, Emily, everybody here. Democratic operatives stepping back after video suggests group incited violence at Trump rallies. So they've incited violence at Trump rallies. This is October 18, 2016. You got to ask yourself, without overwhelming media support, where would Democrats be? Because the average person, and it doesn't matter what your background is, what your ethnicity is, nobody likes property damage. Now, after the election, if they continue to engage in unrest or fiery but peaceful protests, the average person of all backgrounds is going to be really upset, and it's going to hurt the Democratic Party even further. So it does not behoove them to engage in such actions. So I think that he's right. I think Mr. Anton is right that they're trying to set the groundwork for some kind of grandiose show of discontent. But as with everything they do, see, Democrats don't have a long-term strategy. They have 0 long-term goals. They work within like stages, like public relations stages. So they work within news cycles. And they try to milk every single ounce of public relations within a news cycle. Because they have the producers at CNN and MSNBC. They have the editors at the Washington Post, the New York Times. By the way, check out my latest on H.A. Goodman's other channel. There's this journalist, I'm being generous, who is still obsessing about me 4 years after my writing in the Hill, the Huffington Post, and so on. And his vantage point is, well, you know what? H.A. Goodman was saying that he wouldn't vote for Clinton even with the prospect of Republicans controlling the Supreme Court. And it's like, yes, and it wasn't like that was a viewpoint that resonated among many people. At least 77,000 Americans in Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. And you're going to lose Minnesota this year, Democrats. How do you like that? Probably shouldn't have dismantled Minneapolis, but, the people are not like, Democrats are like, oh, look, Biden's up in the polls. Biden is not even running. The polls are public relations stunts and ploys. Democrats despise Trump with every single fiber of their being. They can't list a crime he committed. They can't list a war he started. They can't blame the pandemic on him because nobody believes that, even they don't. Most of the lives lost are in New York, New Jersey, and Democratic-run states. This is a fact. About 8 to 9 Democratic-run states have over half of all the lives lost in the entire country. And so, And so you can't blame President Trump. And the highest unemployment rates are in Democratic-run states. You cannot blame President Trump for that. Sandiford! I think Barr is putting the machinery in place to stomp exactly if Trump wins. Well, there's Operation Legend. Sandiford. There's Operation Legend. I think Barr is putting the machinery in place now to stomp on agitators if Trump wins and they start trying to cause serious problems again. There's Operation Legends. Minnie, hello. Where are you, the North Pole? I do the hour and a half to 2 hour live streams, and the reason I'm wearing this awesome hat is like, you know what? It's going to actually get colder. It's funny because it's hot in the day in Southern California, but it's quite cold at night. But you talk and talk and talk and talk and talk, and this keeps like your whole everything warm, so it's pretty good. Matthew, hello. Paul, hello. So Sandiford, I agree with you. There's Operation Legend. Operation Legend is in full force. There's 200 to 300 people on federal crimes. And like I said, Sandiford, everybody here, William Barr, this is what the left doesn't understand, okay? If you communicate via Instagram or Facebook or Twitter, or even your apps, your wonderful apps on your phone, the federal government or state government they have access. They if you were engaged in a coordinated effort, meaning like 2 or 3 people, doesn't have to be this grandiose plot. Any type of coordinated effort where you're saying, hey, we're going to go into this city and we're going to cause havoc and chaos, then you have broken numerous laws. Okay? And if you've written your plans down, which they all have, okay, there have been numerous organizations, that engaged in illegal activity because of political ideology in our nation's history and in the history of countries around the world. Not just talking about the recent ones in the past 20 years that I can't even bring up on YouTube. But you always have people who've lost their minds who think that they're on the side of justice and that they're battling, they're battling for the fate of humanity. So if you truly have convinced yourself that you're on the side of justice, then anything goes. Like Sandiford and everybody here, this is the problem with Democrats. The way Democrats work, you can give, firearms as an example. Okay? Emily! People in the EIP wargamed what to do if Trump wins, so I don't know why you say they don't have a strategy. Well, their war games very likely are. Look, they themselves, that organization might have a strategy. Democrats in general, I don't think have a strategy. Even if they try to foreshadow what would take place if Trump won, and if they had a plan for the types of protests in D.C. and New York and other cities, or I don't see the long-term strategy that would help them. See, once they lose again, it's hashtag you lost twice. For a great many American men, they look at things like I look at things from the vantage point of a Super Bowl or a World Series. You don't want to lose 2 straight Super Bowls. You don't want to lose 2 straight elections. You don't want to lose 2 straight World Series. You don't want to lose 2 straight to your rival. If you're Auburn, Alabama, if you're SC UCLA, if you are Oklahoma, Texas, Miami, Florida State, you don't want to lose twice, because then the other guy has bragging rights. And Democrats run purely on emotion and public relations. They won't be able to rebound from this. So anything they do that's not constructive, the moment Trump wins, anything they do, Emily, that's not constructive will hurt them in the long run. So that's why I say there is no strategy in, if they lined up outside the gate of the White House and threw poop over the wall, that would show how angry they are, but it wouldn't be a strategy. There's nothing that they can do short of dismantling and rebuilding their entire political party that would help them in the long run. So they have tactics, but they don't have a long-term strategy. And war game scenarios, all of these, it's like these are the gun control people. So it's like there's a great meme of a picture of a target at the range, and it's like and the thing, and it says conservatives do this for fun, Democrats, which is true. It's kind of hilarious. Like they talk a big game, but it's like all these liberals now have armed themselves with the Second Amendment. Like all of these shops around the country are like, yeah, you have to wait for the background check, because like liberals don't get it. They're like, what background? They think it's like going to the store and buying candy, especially in California. So you have millions and millions of new owners, but I just don't think that there's anything that they can do in terms of Red Ford. Hello. I just don't think there's anything they could do. Like, they're trying to create fear, but they've already burnt down cities. It hasn't helped them one bit. It's actually given Trump the election when he already had the election to begin with. So it's like, when they lose again, and they're going to lose again, that's why Emily, everybody here, Sandiford, Luke St. Martin, Eric H526, everybody here, my Australian crew, everyone here, Paul, Jimbo, everyone here, okay? Dr. Russell, everyone. Be here November 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, all throughout October, all throughout November. I'm building H.A. Goodman's other channel. I have my website coming out. This is going to be the most important time in the history of the internet. The internet is really, the past 20 years, has become, ubiquitous. Old school dad, man. Funny how it all started with Cheating Bernie. That's what I say. That's what I tell my friends who haven't lost it completely. They say, well, are you happy about this? Shouldn't have cheated Bernie. Shouldn't have cheated Bernie. Shouldn't have cheated Bernie. That's what I say, but they cannot rebound. See, this is a very important concept. This is a very important concept to understand. I know this because I'm a lifelong Democrat, and I was the biggest Bernie Sanders booster on the internet, according to the Huffington Post. I don't know if I told you. And the unofficial scribe of Sanders is the most hardcore voters, according to the Washington Post. Galactic One, all about the U. I'm a diehard Trojan, but I give it up to Miami. Miami has so many. I mean, everybody from Ray Lewis to Michael Irvin. Miami has some great, amazing, just Hall of Fame players. A wonderful program in terms of. I actually grew up watching Miami football, and just them in the end zone, partying in the end zone, and I think that was like a huge thing that a lot of teenagers in the 90s just watching Miami and other teams doing that, even though I'm a diehard Trojan fan. But yeah, the U is awesome. Galactic One. But old school dad, man, they cheated Bernie Sanders, and they are not going to be able to evade the ghost of cheating Bernie. Cheating Bernie is an actual ghost. It's a specter. It is a ghoul. It is a ghost that exists, that haunts the Democratic Party. It is a ghost that haunts the Democratic Party. And it will never, ever, it'll never leave. It will never, ever leave until they admit. They cannot admit that they cheated Bernie Sanders. They cannot admit that. Okay, Debbie Wasserman Schultz was forced to resign. They actually had a primary where the democratic process, see, they talk about democracy. They are the antithesis of democracy. The democratic process should have ensured the best candidate win. Instead, they ensured that Clinton would win. Clinton. That's why they're waiting until the last second in 2020, because it's impossible for Madam Secretary to campaign on any kind of, winning strategy, because there's too much baggage there. So that's why when I've brought up Clinton 2020, it's the left that's petrified, not Trump supporters. But see, Biden is worse than Clinton. Clinton does better among black and Latino voters. So you watch, ladies and gentlemen, this Supreme Court issue, that's not the biggest, that's not the only thing that's going to happen and where people say, oh my God, could this election get any more bizarre? No. Clinton is going to replace Biden. I don't know how. It could be a simple meeting from, Tom Perez. Old school dead man. Thank you. Jasher! Talk about how bad the left is going to lose their minds during SCOTUS Senate hearing. I don't know. It could be. But this is the thing also. Jasher, here's the issue. If they lose their minds trying to disparage a woman, they're done. Then they keep saying, the suburban housewives and, the suburban women and young women. And, Amy Coney Barrett is a relatively young woman. I think she's in her 40s. You're going to alienate women across the country. You're going to alienate Catholic women across the country. You're going to alienate Midwestern voters. They're done. And same with Barbara Lagoa. They would alienate Latinas and voters throughout the country, and Hispanic voters throughout the country, Latino and Hispanic voters in Florida, and Hispanic women and Latinas. They would alienate them. So they're done, Jasher. They can't do it. There's really nothing they can do. They can't pull a Kavanaugh on her. None of your business. H.A. Goodman, I don't like your hat. There's no MAGA on it. Here's $19.99. Get you a nice one. None of your business. You know what? I actually bought this Raider pin. If you could see this right here. Let me just show you here. This little Raider pin right here. I try to put this, and you probably wouldn't be able to see it. So I try to put it right here. But there's no way to fasten it on. So okay, that's not working. So none your business. Thank you, none your business. Thank you. Yeah, so I try to thank you very much as always for your support and your generosity. Thank you, none your business. So, but I'm going to try to put something on there. Let's see if there's, I don't know if they can. I might put like a Ramones thing or something on here. Thank you, none your business. Thank you so very, very much. None your business. Thank you. Lyle Bud. Trump, the greatest president of my lifetime. He's the greatest president of my lifetime, too. Lyle Bud. He really is. He really is. What he's doing right now, Lyle Bud, he deserves the Nobel Peace Prize. And he really is. He really is the greatest president. Really. Lyle Bud, I mean, First president to step foot in North Korea to begin détente between North and South Korea. President Moon Jae-in of South Korea stated he deserved the Nobel Peace Prize. First president to broker and preside over peace between Israel and the UAE and Bahrain, and diplomatic diplomatic and economic relationship between also Serbia and Kosovo, which is absolutely huge. We had record low unemployment. We had record low black and Latino unemployment. He signed the First Step Act, which is prison reform legislation, which is exactly what people are engaging in these fiery but peaceful protests. And you have a president that has allocated more funding to historically black colleges and universities than any other president ever. You have a president who's going up and doesn't kiss the behind of corrupt intelligence officials. So he's going after the people who went after him in the Durham probe. These are intelligence officials. These are unelected intelligence officials, unelected, who tried to interfere in the election and they lost. John Mark! H.A. Good the man. John Mark! Thank you. Thank you, John Mark. Thank you. Thank you, John Mark. So, I agree with you. None of your business. Thank you, Lyle Bud. Thank you. John Mark, hello. Thank you. Brad, hello. But you look, ladies and gentlemen, and Amy Coney Barrett is really is going to it's going to be very, very, very difficult. Very difficult to undermine and disparage Amy Coney Barrett. So let's look at her bio. So this is the SCOTUS blog. Profile of a potential nominee, Amy Coney Barrett. President Donald Trump. Okay, so let's see here. President Donald Trump announced on Saturday he would nominate a woman to fill the vacancy left by the passing of Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. According to news reports, Judge Amy Coney Barrett, a judge on the Chicago-based U.S. Court of Appeals for the Seventh Circuit, is on the short list of candidates whom the president is considering. This is not the first time Barrett's name has been mentioned in connection with a possible Supreme Court seat. Barrett was reportedly also on the short list to fill the vacancy created by the retirement of Justice Anthony Kennedy in 2018. Although that seat was eventually filled by the now Justice Brett Kavanaugh, he should have gone with two women. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. He should have gone with two women. He should have gone with Amy Coney Barrett because they didn't care about, resume or, Kavanaugh had an amazing resume. They didn't care. They could not have done what they did to Kavanaugh to Amy Coney Barrett. But here Trump reportedly told advisors he was saving Barrett in case Ginsburg stepped down during his presidency. Barrett became a hero to many religious conservatives after her 2017 confirmation hearing for her seat on the Court of Appeals when Democrats on the Senate Judiciary Committee, most notably Senator Dianne Feinstein of California, grilled her on the role of her Catholic faith in judging, which I think is the height of hypocrisy. They would never have treated anyone like this. They would never have treated anyone like the way they treated. They would never have treated Amy Coney Barrett as if she was of a different background. Let's just put it that way. And that's the truth. Early life and career. The 48-year-old Barrett grew up in Louisiana, Metairie, Louisiana, a suburb of New Orleans, and attended St. Mary's Dominican High School, a Catholic girls' school in New Orleans. Barrett graduated magna cum laude from Rhodes College, a liberal arts college in Tennessee, affiliated with the Presbyterian Church in 1994. Other high-profile alumni of the school include Abe Fortas, who served as a justice on the Supreme Court from 1965 to 1969, and Claudia Kennedy, the first woman to become a 3-star general in the U.S. Army. At Rhodes, she was a member of the Phi Beta Kappa and was also recognized as the most outstanding English major for having the best senior thesis. After graduating from Rhodes, Barrett went to law school at Notre Dame. On a full tuition scholarship, she excelled there as well. She graduated summa cum laude in 1997, received awards for having the best. SC beat Notre Dame in 97. She graduated summa cum laude in 1997, received awards for having the best exams in 10 of her courses, and served as executive editor of the school's law review. Barrett then held 2 high-profile conservative clerkships, first with Judge Lawrence Silberman of the U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia Circuit from 1997 to 1998, and then with the late Justice Antonin Scalia from 1998 to 1999. After leaving her Supreme Court clerkship, she spent a year practicing law at a prestigious Washington, D.C. litigation boutique that also claims as alumni former U.S. Solicitor General Seth Waxman, former Deputy Attorney General Jamie Gorelick, and John Elwood, the head of Arnold & Porter's appellate practice. In 2001, Miller-Cassidy emerged to the chagrin of Democratic senators during her confirmation process in the 7th Court. Barrett was able to recall only a few of the cases she worked, and she indicated she never argued any appeals while in private practice. A prolific stint in academia. Greg Landry, cold or exterior studio. No, you know what it is? When I speak for an hour and a half to 2 hours, it's getting a bit colder in Southern California at night. But this is, we'll see how long I go with this, because I have the beanies, but this is nice because it just like it kind of I just want to be extra careful with the whole pandemic also, because it does get colder, and this is like kind of allows me to speak for a lot longer. I can't explain it other than it kind of just warms up everything above the shoulders. So, Greg, thank you. So, let's see. A prolific stint in academia. Barrett spent a year as a law and economics fellow at George Washington University before heading to her alma mater, Notre Dame, in 2002 to teach federal courts constitutional law and statutory interpretation. Barrett was named a professor of law at the school in 2010. 4 years later, she became the Diane and Mo Research Chair of Law. Barrett was named Distinguished Professor of the Year 3 times. Nice. While at Notre Dame, Barrett signed a 2012 statement of protest condemning the accommodation that the Obama administration created for religious employers who were subject to the Affordable Care Act's birth control mandate. That also is, I didn't even really agree with that when I was on the left. The statement lamented that the accommodation changes nothing of moral substance and fails to remove the assault on individual liberty and the rights of conscience which gave rise to the controversy. Barrett was also a member of the Federalist Society, a conservative legal group from 2005-2006, and then from 2014 to 2017, in response to written questions from Democratic senators during her 7th Circuit confirmation. I love this. Like, Democrats are like, you got to answer our questions. It's like, well, you're not going to vote for her anyway. They should just here are the answers and have just give them a blank page. They're not going to vote. They're going to vote across party line anyway. So this whole thing is just a spectacle. They're not going to vote for Amy Coney Barrett or anyone that Trump nominates. So in response to written questions from the Democratic senators, and they're not, and this is the interesting thing, ladies and gentlemen, they would never allow the Republicans to pack the courts if it was 6-3 liberal judges. They would say, no, you can't. That's ridiculous. That's absurd. That's a fantastical conspiratorial theory that you could just pack courts. John Mark, Will they ever? I don't think so. I think, though, there's a chance of an indictment eventually. I think the indictment, yes, but you see, the thing is with these people, even if they're indicted, they don't get arrested because they just run by a different standard, unfortunately. John, thank you. William R. Abrams III, H.A. Goodman, South Park special. Thank you. So, okay, during her 15 years as a full-time law professor, Barrett's academic scholarship was prolific. Several of her articles drew attention at Barrett's confirmation hearing. So they went after her for an article that she co-wrote, that she helped write, and that was not her opinion. It was the opinion of the professor that she was working alongside, or the justice that she was working, or the judge that she was working alongside. So she explained this ad nauseum. Of course, they didn't either understand or wouldn't accept the explanation because they're Democrats. So, So you're going to go into an election 6-3, which is fantastic, and very likely the Supreme Court is going to have to weigh in on an issue because Democrats are going to fight tooth and nail. And the Democrats on Twitter, it's kind of funny. Like, I don't have Twitter, but I see what's going on. I don't have a Twitter profile because it's like a realm of complete crap and nonsense, a cyber realm, a cyber world of just feces. Democratic excrement, Democratic Party excrement, but like they are what they do is, well, just Brad. Here's $10 towards the HA Old People's channel earlier. Here's $10 towards the HA Old People's channel earlier in the evening. It's 12:45 a.m. here. I would watch more. I would watch more live streams. Brad, thank you. HA Old People's channel earlier in the evening. You know what? I'm gonna try to, get there at 9. Sometimes I do 9:30. Brad, thank you. Brad, thank you very, 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 very much. Brad, thank you. As always, Brad, thank you. After Barrett's confirmation hearing, before the Senate voted on her nomination, the New York Times reported that Barrett was a member of a group called the People of Praise. Group members, the Times indicates, swear a lifelong oath of loyalty to one another. Moreover, the Times said the group teaches that husbands are the heads of their heads of their wives, and should take authority for their family. Well, what's wrong with that? I'm just joking. YouTube, just joking. The newspaper quoted legal experts who worried that such an oath could raise legitimate questions about judicial nominees' independence and impartiality. It's okay. Democrats take an unofficial oath to the Democratic Party. You can see with their actions, like their lives are, their entire identities. You have so many atheists in the Democratic Party, but they worship the notion of being morally superior. Not that they're morally superior. They really get off on thinking that it's not just they want to be morally superior. It's not like they want to be on the right side of an issue because of truth and because of justice and because of moral consideration. It feeds their narcissism. So they can, like, what they do is they'll be like, well, if you're supporting the Second Amendment, then you're supporting the manufacturers of these weapons, and the manufacturers allow people who engage in these mass atrocities. So therefore, you protecting your family makes me and my family unsafe. And this is why their arguments never resonate. They're very loud, and they have media on their side, but their arguments never. That's why they don't want to debate. That's why they never really debate. They only debate. They never debate people that they know either came from the left and can now kind of dismantle their arguments. They don't mind debating like, overt conservatives that perhaps have that are ideologues in certain ways, so then they can actually kind of like paint the discussion. Well, we're so forward thinking and logical. They can't debate anyone who addresses the nuance or complexity of an issue, because their arguments don't address the nuance or complexities of any issue. Climate change, for example. If you don't listen to us, the world will end. Well, then why did President Obama preside over the largest expansion of domestic oil and gas production? You think when this channel grows, I will be I will be challenging I have a whole list of people who have like the $20 million venture capital funded people. Would love to debate them. I'd rip them to shreds because I know all their deepest, darkest secrets, their Achilles heels. I know the duplicity because like a part of me is still stuck in 2016, that mentality. And I know how cowardly and duplicitous they all were and still are. So Barrett on, okay, So Barrett stressed the Second Amendment confers an individual right ultimately connected with the natural right of self-defense and not limited to civic participation. Exactly. So the Second Amendment is rooted in a law of nature. Okay, you have a right to defend yourself. Brad, thank you. Jimbo! Robert Barnes outlined why Lagoa would be a better pick than Barrett based on judgment, experience, and record. I would be happy. I started off Jimbo. I started off with this. I would be happy with Barbara Lagoa. I would be very happy. Extremely happy. Extremely happy. I think it's going to be Amy Coney Barrett. But can I tell you something? I would be very, very, very happy, Jimbo. I would be very happy. This is Christmas come early. Okay? In California, this is hilarious. There I don't know, like there was like 2 or 3 days where you could get a magazine of like a 30-round magazine. And then like after that you couldn't. This is like federal, like the circuit court judgments that are actually moving towards the Second Amendment. And people say, well, why do you need 30 rounds? Like, well, why do you need an F-35? You never go to the military and say, well, why do we need an F-35? F-22 does the same thing. We have an F-18. Those are fantastic. You have F-16s that still do the job, extremely well. Why do you need an F-35? And also, why wouldn't you want to protect your family with everything you can? So, and these are the people who, these are the same people who, and I love Whole Foods, but these are the same people who go to Whole Foods and love Whole Foods, by the way. But these are the same people who go to Whole Foods and buy, honey for like $30. Well, why don't you go and buy honey for a jar for $5 at Ralph's or Kroger or whatever? Democrats want to impose their sensibilities on people. And then, by the way, the actors in Hollywood have their own security details. So, but I mean, it's just, it's like, whenever you're given a taste of freedom, because it is, the ability to protect yourself is freedom. And it has nothing to do with keeping anyone else unsafe, because guess what? Criminals don't abide by laws. Okay, when there was a mass atrocity at a let's say, a university or, God forbid, a high school, that is a firearm-free zone. They are literally just breaking the law. These are laws that exist already. They're still breaking the law. You're not going to save people by pretending that criminals are insane human beings, think rationally, that they would say, gosh, it's so difficult to find this or that. You could find narcotics. The war on drugs has never worked. And so and then they say, well, then the rebuttal is an emotional argument. Well, then why do you have laws? You have laws to protect yourself from criminals who don't care about laws, number one. And you have laws to have society function and to protect the rights of citizens. So, Jimbo, thank you. I would love Barbara Lagoa. I started off, I've been saying that Amy Coney Barrett's going to be the next Supreme Court Justice for a long time. I would absolutely love that. Cuban American, first generation. I would be so happy. And I actually think she's actually even more conservative on a whole bunch of issues. So I would be so happy. Really, I would be. Jimbo. I think it's going to be Amy Coney Barrett. See, he should have gone 2 women. Oh, my God. That would have undermined. That would have, in hindsight, he's done pretty well. He's done pretty well, but he should never have fired Michael Flynn. That was the first mistake. That was the biggest mistake President Trump made. And he should have thrown a curveball instead of a fastball. They were looking for the fastball with Kavanaugh. And they were ready. But Jimbo, thank you. Thomasteen, hello. Thomasteen, been a while. HA still listens sometimes. My Twitter account is locked and will remain locked because I refuse to delete a tweet talking. Thomasteen, thank you. Yeah, Twitter is a complete and utter waste of time. It is a complete and utter waste of time, Thomasteen. Life is so much better. Life is so much better without Twitter. It really is. It really is. Life is so much better without Twitter. It's a waste of time. Let's just assume that it's like 10. Let's just say, because the average user on Twitter and who people don't realize, if you're an active person on Twitter, and thank God I've saved so much time the past 2 years, but if you're an active person on Twitter, you're looking at least an hour a day. You're looking at least an hour a day wasted in cyberspace arguing. If you're an active user on Twitter discussing and arguing about politics, that's at least an hour. That's at least an hour. And some people spend hours. This is time. Like, you're eventually going to be eaten up by worms, eventually. And you have very precious time on this planet. Do you want to waste time arguing with a profile of a picture of, some lame profile that a person hiding behind an image, just arguing with you and taking your words and twisting them, and it doesn't benefit you in any way at all, and it just wastes time. You're literally just wasting time. It's the least. Staring at a wall would be more productive, because then you might think of a new business idea, or you might, you could meditate, I guess. There is nothing good that comes from Twitter, at least from Facebook, which is a complete waste of time also. You might be able to meet up with people you haven't seen in a long time, but even that, there are other ways to do that. There's nothing good that comes from Twitter. Thomasteen, thank you. Exactly, Eric H526, exactly. Indiana later went to the Supreme Court, which reversed. Okay, so in 2019, Barrett indicated that she wanted the full Seventh Circuit to hear a challenge to an Indiana law. All right, so statute taking a judicial act extraordinary gravity. So she's been pretty fair on certain things. Okay, so you want people, especially in universities, to be able to defend themselves when they're accused of something. You don't want a society to revolve around the whims and the hysterical sentiments of left-leaning activists. Even if their motives are somewhat noble, or even if they are addressing important issues. See, what the left does, it's not that they don't address important issues. They do. Like, climate change is important. But don't be hypocrites and say the planet's going to end if you don't listen to Democrats, while at the same time you watch them preside over the largest expansion of domestic oil and gas production. What the left does is they take an issue that's an important issue, and they utilize it for such brazen and overt political to achieve political points or political capital, to such an extent that they hurt the issue, that the issue no longer stands for a noble or just outcome. They engage in this hysteria, and they do so because they have media. This is perhaps the first time in American history where the far left and media, where the far left is getting a real chance to, convey their wacky beliefs through the media. And I say, I in a way, I used to be part of the far left, but even I never looked at Bernie Sanders as, wow, this is an amazing socialist. I actually tried never to bring it up. Enrique Crespo. I hope so. Twitter is awful. I hope so. Get on board. Exactly. I hope. Enrique, thank you. Enrique Crespo, thank you. So, basically, she's awesome. So there's nothing that, Trump should never have gone with Kavanaugh. He should have gone straight with Amy Coney Barrett, and they would have been trying to disparage a woman, which would have undermined their entire... See, look what they did to Tulsi Gabbard, okay? Look what they did to Tulsi Gabbard. They don't care. Look, she's a veteran and a woman, and look what they did to her. I mean, these people are the biggest hypocrites on the planet. The biggest hypocrites on the planet, and they obsess. Check out H.A. Goodman's other channel, ladies and gentlemen. This journalist, and I'm being very generous, wrote 5 hit pieces on me in thankfully a publication that not many people have read, but it's a publication that no longer exists. But he wrote 5 hit pieces, and he's still obsessing over me. And he said something to the effect like, oh, I want on my tombstone that I got H.A. Goodman kicked off of Twitter, and he's spreading misinformation, because I was never kicked off of Twitter because of anybody. I decided to leave. The progressive soapbox, Jamal Thomas, who's a fantastic progressive, YouTuber, he had a great video documenting me leaving Twitter. So, so it's like, do you think that I would derive enjoyment from getting a left-leaning activist or a liberal journalist or a lefty or liberal or progressive YouTuber, or like, do you think I would derive enjoyment from getting a person on the left kicked off of Twitter? Which I was never kicked off of Twitter. I decided to leave. I was never banned. But anyway, spreading misinformation, probably funded by Putin. But anyway, think of the mentality. You have to understand something. Think of the mentality here. Brad! Unless you're Donald Trump and you sleep 2 hours a night, then tweet freely to the outrage. Brad, thank you, Brad. Mike, hello. It's just, it warms the ears. It warms the ears. That's the thing. We'll see how long I go with it. I think I'm going to probably buy a couple different ones, but Pat, hello. You think I would derive enjoyment, ladies and gentlemen, from getting somebody banned off of Twitter? Do you think that's something that I would, like, do you think I would spend, I would write 5 articles on a person? Do you think that I would do that? That Hanny's like, General D, no, it's just, you know what? It's to, when I speak, see, I'm actually, it's going on an hour and a half, and Jimbo! Trump met with Barrett today. Yes, that's true. That's true. Exactly. Trump met with Barrett. Exactly. Jimbo, thank you. Exactly. But do you think I would derive enjoyment from writing 5 hit pieces on somebody? Think about that. But that's what they do. They are obsessed. Do you understand? They're obsessed. They're obsessed with anyone whose arguments resonate. My arguments have always resonated with a great many people. It's because I make a claim and back it up. That doesn't mean I'm right about everything. Like, if I go out on a limb with a prediction, that's a different story. But the arguments I made in The Hill, The Huffington Post, Salon, I was a contributor to The Hill, The Jerusalem Post, I've been published in the Roanoke Times. Yon Sun Long, hello. You look like a medieval judge. Yon Sun Long, hello. Hi, Caroline, hello. Do you think, like, it's kind of like they are afraid and frightened and petrified that anyone on the planet would agree with an argument or an idea that is antithetical to their ideology. They don't like debate. They want to silence any opposition. They engage in only hyperbole. They almost always engage in hyperbole. They paint and frame an argument utilizing only the most extreme viewpoints without any nuance, without addressing any complexities, and they make absurd leaps of logic. Well, Trump is a mean person. He says mean things. You know who also said mean things? The 1930s and 1940s Germans. Well, yeah, and the man who ran that whole thing was a vegetarian. So therefore, if you're a vegetarian, you are also a maniacal monster. A megalomaniacal monster. You know. So they engage in pure hyperbole. Sam, hello. They engage only in hyperbole, and they expect you to revere the things that they hold sacred. But, you should go ahead and see how they treated John McCain in 2007 and 2008. Go ahead and see how they reacted to Antonin Scalia's passing. Okay? Go ahead and see how they treated Tara Reade or any of the accusers of people in the Assistant Attorney General in Virginia. Go ahead and see how they react when they're caught with things that they shouldn't have written, or when they are caught doing and saying and acting, doing and saying things that would get people completely canceled in this day and age. They demand forgiveness. They demand you look at nuance. They say, oh my God, you're putting me in danger, when they try to put others in danger. Like, where are the imagine if the conservatives see Trump supporters don't go to people's houses. But imagine if you had Trump supporters going to Democratic politicians' houses. Imagine if you had Trump supporters going to the houses of people on MSNBC and CNN. I'm not advocating this. Do not do this, because it's a waste of time. And there's so many illegal elements to all of that. But they went outside Lindsey Graham's house today, I think. And they were like, if we can't sleep, then he can't sleep. It's like, this is the mentality. I swear to God that he should find where each of them live and go to their, and Lindsey Graham go to their house. You can't sleep now, can you? I couldn't sleep the other night. Well, you can't sleep. Like with a bullhorn and a megaphone. Like, how does it feel when the shoe's on the other foot? Having trouble sleeping? Try Salmonex. Like, that. It's like they just cheated no more. I am enjoying the great hat debate tonight. I'm giving a thumbs up. Cheated no more. Thank you. Thank you. Cheated no more. Thank you. I appreciate that. General D. Cheated no more. Thank you very much for your support. General D. H.A., did you know since 1900 there were 4 high court judges appointed in 0 days? Wow. And what, like 20 plus in less than 3 weeks, or less than 40 days. General D, thank you. General D, thank you so very, very much. General D, thank you. Cheated no more, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm losing steam, but the hat did work. The babushka hat did work. It allows me to kind of, because, when you speak for like an hour and a half straight to 2 hours, everything like tenses up. It doesn't tense up, but like if it's cold and you're speaking for 2 hours straight, an hour and a half straight, you just want things kind of heated up above the neck. And so this does that. It's like really nice. So we'll see. It's all like leather here. It's awesome. I'm going to get in my B-52 now. General D, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, Jimbo, everyone here, thank you so very, very much. Everyone, thank you. All I can tell you, people, if you can all do me a favor, I don't usually speak this way, but tell your friends about this channel. Tell your friends about H.A. Goodman's other channel. This is going to heat up. People, it's going to heat up. Scorp Target, hello. Thank you. Tell your friends about this melatonin, Mitch. There are now 666 current viewers. Oh my goodness. Okay, now it's gone. So, ladies and gentlemen, God bless to my super chat. Thank you so very, very much, everyone. Eric H526, Luke St. Martin, thank you very much for being amazing moderators always. I can't thank you, gentlemen, enough. You really are wonderful. People, tell your friends about this channel. Tell your friends about H.A. Goodman on YouTube. Tell your neighbors, your friends, family members, anyone you know. If you're in another country, also, YouTube actually gives content creators, it's actually like even better to have viewers in other countries. It really is. So to my Australian crew, everyone here, thank you. The viewers around the world in the UK, in Hong Kong, everywhere on the planet, thank you. Tell your friends about this channel, people. Tell your friends about H.A. Goodman's other channel. Be here in November, all throughout October, all throughout the remainder of this month. It's only going to heat up. Get ready. The dorsal fin ain't flipper. That dorsal fin is not flipper. It's Madam Secretary. Give me your thoughts below. I'll see you tomorrow, everyone. Thank you so very much.